This RV-era Mark III Honda HR-V is part of an e-HEV generation of efficient Honda SUVs, and here has been subtly updated. As before, it uses a self-charging full hybrid with a fiendishly clever powertrain, and there's a sophisticated interior that retains the brand's trademark magic folding seats. In short, there's lots to like here. A large number of HR-V owners buy another, and this updated third-generation model aims to keep them loyal.
There are no mechanical or drivetrain changes as part of this update, which means that, as before, it's fairly clear right from the get-go that this is a car for pragmatism rather than for performance, although that doesn't mean that it can't be enjoyable in its own way. Quite a few of the ingredients actually work really very well here. The highlight is ride quality, and that's aided by sophisticated suspension bolted to a more rigid platform. In fact, the way this car cossets you over porous surfaces might easily sell you on it, the ride being soft but well damped. The whole setup is supple enough to absorb bumps while controlling body roll through the corners. The vague steering, that won't encourage you to push on very much through those turns, but if you choose to do that, then you'll find plenty of traction and some of the feel of a larger and more expensive SUV. But what you're really going to need to get used to if you're going to choose this car is the way its rather unique petrol engine works. A self-charging hybrid of the full fat sort, unlike the token effort mild hybrids which brands like Ford provide in this segment. Honda calls it an e-HEV, and it comes in one variety only with CVT auto gearbox and front wheel drive. It's the same 1.5 litre twin electric motor power plant that we've already seen in Honda's Jazz Super Mini, but here, to cover off the HR-V's extra weight, there's a bigger battery, 1 kilowatt hours as opposed to 0.86 kilowatt hours, and power's boosted by 21 PS to 131 PS. The full hybrid powertrain format the market's most familiar with is the planetary gearbox system that was developed by Toyota, but this setup's different. The idea is to make the car far more like a full EV. You can't plug it in, but battery power is certainly in play far more of the time than is usual with a self-charging hybrid. The engine only actually drives the wheels when full power is needed, and even then it usually gets some electrical assistance. Otherwise, its role is to drive a generator, and that keeps the battery topped up so that the electric motors can supply forward motion to the front wheels. Now, in theory, more time spent in EV motion means a quieter drive, and sure enough, when it's being driven very gently, the HR-V is indeed quiet, smooth and pleasantly responsive, with just a gentle hum there from the electric motors actually. Flex your right foot even a modest extent though, and the piece is very definitely broken with a cattle-like moo which frequently cuts in and out, and which you would tire of very quickly if you were going to continue to drive in this manner. There's also a return to the early days of elastic band style CVT auto gearbox response, which initially reacts to a significant right foot prod by soaring the rev skywards without very much in the way of forward motion. Selecting the most urgent of the three provided drive modes, Sport doesn't help very much, but you'll need that if you're going to try to replicate Honda's quoted stats. 62 miles an hour from rest in 9.4 seconds on the way to 109 mph. It's better though to settle back into the two more sensible drive settings, Econ or Normal, and drive this car with a bit more decorum, at which point you begin to like it a whole lot more. The powertrain itself automatically switches between three settings as you drive: electric drive, hybrid drive and engine drive. That's to maximize the efficiency. Maybe at this point you'll also want to play with the paddles behind the steering wheel. These are provided to alter the amount of regenerative braking, but you'll quickly tire of doing that. Firstly, because none of the three levels appear to much alter off-throttle deceleration, and secondly, because your selections are automatically overridden by the car after a short time, and that can be rather frustrating. If you want to maximize the energy recuperation benefits of brake energy regeneration, it's easier to simply click the gear lever into its alternative B drive position. Mid-term visual updates don't come much more subtle than this one, but this RV Series HR-V really didn't need much cosmetic surgery. As before, there's a rakish profile, a straight-edged shoulder line and large 18-inch wheels. Size-wise, this HR-V continues to occupy a slightly unique niche within the segment, a bit bigger than, say, a Toyota Yaris Cross or a Renault Captur hybrid, but not quite as big as hybrid versions of the Kia Niro and the Hyundai Kona. Bear that in mind when you're making your competitor comparisons, and also remember that the smart two-tone roof that we have here only comes with the priciest HR-V models. Most of the facelift changes are here at the front, which even an earlier owner might not pick up on without the original model parked alongside. Believe it or not, this whole front panel is actually new, as is the horizontally slatted grille with its blue-tinged Honda badge and contrast upper moulding. There are revised lower trim sections too, finished in high-gloss black, and smarter headlamp units, which feature revised internals and a more prominent DRL signature encased in a darker finish. At the rear, this full-width LED light bar now features a revised internal design. So the exterior remains smart, if not especially distinctive. Let's take a look though inside. As before, it's a cabin designed to maximise the feeling of spaciousness, and it's aided by the same minimalist design language that was first used in the little Honda E. You might not mistake this for a premium brand model, but there is an impressive sense of calm and cohesion here, and it's aided by the almost unbroken soft touch horizontal trim strip that runs across the front of the cabin here, the centre of which is topped by this high-mounted 9-inch central touchscreen. Horizontal vents stretch across the upper part of the fascia, bookended at each corner by these neat little silver vent controls, offering a diffuse setting which promises to spread the air more evenly around the cabin. As for the update changes, well, as with the outside, quite a lot's actually gone on here, but you'd really hardly know it. The lower central dash and center console, they've been reprofiled to make access to the wireless phone charging mat easier from both the passenger and from the driver's seats. And the high gloss piano black trimmed lower part of the center console is flatter and it's more ergonomic in design. Looking through the steering wheel, as before, there's an instrument screen with an unusual combination of physical speedometer dial on the right and a configurable information screen on the left. Let's move now to the rear, where the doors are accessed by these hidden upper catches, loved by car stylists but loathed by short children. Before getting in, let's show you something that might really sell you this car actually, Honda's so-called magic seat. Now with this, the seat base can be flipped up towards the back of the car there, cinema seat style, enabling taller objects like an electrical item or a tall plant from the garden centre that you just purchased to be carried behind the rear seats. It's really, really useful. The downside of this mechanism though is that it means that the bench here can neither slide or recline. So it's just as well that there's a reasonable amount of legroom, and that's helped by a lot of space between the floor and the bottom of the front seats here. Finally, let's take a look at the boot, which is only power operated, like this one is if you avoid base trim. Just 319 litres in size. It's not very big, but at least the opening's wide and deep and the lips pleasingly low, which should make it easier to move heavier or bulkier items in and out. Honda says that 2 adult mountain bikes could be carried if the front wheels were removed. In our original test of this third generation model, we were disappointed to find that all of Honda's bafflingly clever eHEV hybrid technology didn't actually amount to very much in terms of frugality statistics. The claimed figures, which really haven't changed with this facelift, are up to 52.3 mpg on the combined cycle and 122 grams per kilometre of CO2. These aren't the stats that we'd expect from a full hybrid in this class. To give you an example of the segment standard here, Hyundai Kona hybrid, well, that manages up to 60.1 miles per gallon and 106 grams per kilometre. Instead, they replicate the figures you'd get from simplistic mild hybrid technology. They are almost identical to what you get from a mild hybrid Ford Puma, for example. Still, Honda claims that the quoted figures are more real-world achievable than those of rivals, and we suspect that they actually might be right there. Both times we've tested this RV series design, we've found its frugality closer to the stated figures than is usually the case with cars of this kind. And to be fair here, it's not that far away from what you get from, for example, a Toyota Yaris Cross, which has significantly less power. Obviously, you'll need to regularly engage the selectable Econ Drive mode to get near the stated stats and to reach close to the theoretical 460-mile range figure possible from the 40-litre fuel tank. You'll also need to maximise regenerative braking, either via the steering wheel paddles here or by engaging the gear stick's B drive position. If you didn't already want an HRV, then this midterm update won't persuade you otherwise. But if you are open to its charms, then we'd suggest that this Honda is definitely now worth a second look. After trying this car, you might decide that its quality feel, its real-world efficiency, and its clever practicality is worth a bit more spend. And or makes more sense than choosing an SUV of this kind with a premium badge. If that's your conclusion, then we wouldn't argue.